Okay. Should be back now, which is good. Okay, perfect. You should be back now. Okay, so we are on angle. How's it going? Good to see people still code. Hey, yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I am doing good. I had a stream going earlier, but I had to go do something, so I'm back now, which is good. And welcome to the stream, guys. Let's see. We just want to return radians. You have the same name as me, W. Very cool. Huh, that's awesome. I don't think I ever asked, what is your game going to be about? So, yeah, that's a good question. I really want to try and do kind of like a, this is going to sound interesting, but like a factory type of builder, but on planets. So, imagine something like Stardew Valley or like Satisfactory or Factorio, where you can jump between planets in a solar system, and those planets can like have their own. It's kind of like Civilization in a sense, but like very bare bones. Like you can have the stats of a planet, and then the planet can grow over time based on the type of stuff that you add to it. But I think I'll start very simply with something like have a planet, let's say the moon, for example, or like let's say Earth, and Earth has like a number of people, and then like a number of citizens or people that live on there, and then you can basically like have different stats for each world. I don't know entirely yet how that's gonna work, but I need to sketch it out for sure. But yeah, I want to do something with like like a farming game type of factory game, but with planets in a solar system. I'm running a startup where I'm automating some mechanical engineering workflows. I hired a few developers who all vibe code and don't code anymore. I used to code a lot before C++ and C++ and Python. Just here to get a fresh C++ hit. Dude, that's fair. Yeah, I appreciate you coming and hanging out. I feel like for me, this channel is kind of like where I learn and like do stuff for fun, and I will always try and write stuff like by hand. But when I know that when I actually get into the real world, I'll probably have to use AI in order to keep up, which is fine. But the biggest difference is I'll be still doing this in my own time. I just think that AI is only really useful if you actually are a good engineer, and vibe coding is not going to solve everything. I'll be honest about that. It'll backfire on a lot of people when they stay as junior devs because they don't know how to actually code. Yeah, and I think that coding is just a part of it. Like, I think that coding itself is the process of getting the design on the paper, essentially, or from the paper to code, obviously. But like, let's say in art, for example, like with art, we don't want to. You have to have an idea first. You can't just start drawing all the time. I mean, sometimes you can draw a masterpiece, but like, if you have ideas first, then they eventually will. You got to plan stuff out first. Otherwise, it can backfire on you majorly. But yeah, I don't know. I think vibe coding isn't something I'm against, but I'm also like very against. I'm against saying that it's the same quality as if someone who would plan out every aspect of the project and take their time, like with a game, for example. Like what I want to do is one sec, set directions. Like with a game, there's so much more quality knowing that you take the time to write tests, to accommodate for bugs and stuff that like because you wrote it by hand. Like you're like, oh, I know where to go. Obviously in a real world workflow, there's not much freedom when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like you don't have the freedom to take the time to do that, and so that's where AI is really good at like setting stuff up for you. But I still think it's important to review it. Okay, like more than occasionally, but like often. Set down. But yeah, I don't know. I personally have vibe coded before, like some stuff, and I'm like, yeah, you can get some stuff done for sure, but it is also definitely not the same quality as if I took my time, and I definitely don't enjoy it as much for me personally. But I definitely like it's gonna work. It's gonna be the future when it comes to production environments to just use AI, which I get, but nothing will ever replace the quality of, not the quality, but just the feeling of writing code by hand. I don't know. Like I said, like I feel very different, like I'm indifferent about it. I think that vibe coding can save you so much time, but at the same time it's still expensive. It can be just it can be just as expensive if you don't know what you're doing. Set down. So we need set right or left. But yeah, I don't know. I also don't hold it against anybody who vibe code. I do and I don't. I personally just don't use AI for my personal stuff. Yeah, true. Try to catch up with competitors, you have to burn a lot of Claude tokens. But getting a whole system design knowledge while writing a software by hand is extremely important. Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that whiteboarding is actually like one of the best ways to get a problem visible to multiple people and stakeholders. Like, I think that having a whiteboard in front of you, you being like, I completely understand what this function or this system is doing, like what it handles, that is a lot more valuable than being like, oh, Claude told me that it can do this. Because AI is arbitrary, like it is non-deterministic, so it gives you a different answer every time. Even if, like, let's say it's just a probability that it'll give you the same answer depending on the context that it has. So like 2 plus 2 equals 4 is universally, the answer is going to be 4. And so there's like a 99% chance that it'll tell you it's 4. But that's because it's going off of all the answers that it's found from the data that it's collected. Now, when you get into a niche problem set and you have like a limited code base, or let's say you have like a 1,000,000-line code base, all it's going to know is like your code base. It's not going to know exactly what to do for every situation, and it's not going to have as much I guess you could call it proofing. Like, it won't be able to compare as accurately because it won't have as many it won't have as much accuracy, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know. My take is on AI is like, it's good to learn how to use it, but it's not always good to use it in every situation. Okay, so I think our angle class is done, which is good. And now we can actually use that in position. So if we go to our position, actually we might need, our position takes an acceleration, which I'm pretty sure we're good on. Yeah, we're good on acceleration. So we need to go to our position again, and then this, our add. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to put all this in one physics class, but we'll see. So then we'll have just a regular add, so void add. And then this can just be an acceleration object. And we can just call it A, and then we can also take a const velocity object called V. And then we also need our T, which is time. And then add we'll actually do in a CPP file, because it is kind of big. Let's see. Oh, I need to include those here. I'm pretty sure we need to include them up here. So velocity. Okay, and then honestly, I think we just take these, put those there. Which, I'm going to look this up. I'm going to see if... Excuse me. In C++, does the preprocessor macro come before or after pound includes? I just have to double check. A defined macro must appear before an include directive. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. So we just do that. Bless you. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. 100% agree with you on your AI take. Yo, what's up, V2? Welcome to the stream, guys. Yeah, I think AI is like such an important tool to understand how to use eventually. Not eventually, but just in general. But like, it doesn't just replace the work that you need to put in for design. Like, I don't know. Like every class that I'm writing right now has an important role, and also like I'll eventually have tests as well that I can write to double check that everything looks impressive. But I haven't learned C++ yet. I only use HTML, Python, and JavaScript. Yeah, C++ is an interesting language because it's really commonly used in like game development and financial tech and low-level like embedded systems. But I honestly think that like C and C++ go hand in hand. I would say that C is probably a better language when it comes to simplicity, because it takes away a lot of abstraction. But C++ is definitely more commonly used because there's so much support for it, which is why I'm learning it. You're number one. Thank you. I've seen a lot of older people's take on it, and they went through the Web3 shift, and they said the hype was pretty much the same back then for Web3. I'm looking up what Web3 is. An idea for a new iteration of World Wide Web, which incorporates concepts such as decentralization, blockchain technologies. Oh, interesting. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. We got 18 people in here? What the heck, guys? Why are you guys here? I'm just kidding. Okay, so we got our position done, which now we should be able to... Oh, we need to... You know what we need to do? There is... So first of all, we're gonna need a position.cpp. But for our position here, we're also gonna need some sort of zoom method so that our pixels line up correctly with with our meters, because we're defining meters as a metric to measure by, but we're gonna have to deal with the ratio between pixels and meters. So we'll do like a deal with ratio between pixels and meters, and then we'll basically have a zoom or set zoom so that we can take our meters from pixels, and then we're gonna basically want to just set the object equal to the regular meters from pixels that we define. So it's basically just a setter, essentially, for the meters to pixels. But then we also need to have a getter for that as well. So it doesn't really do anything crazy. It just is like a getter. But we have to make sure that we account for this object. Otherwise, it could run into errors if we're not the object, but the variable itself. So if we don't account for the zoom, which is, I'm going to call it the zoom because it's kind of dealing with this whole ratio thing. Yeah, it could cause issues. So let's see. 89. I like to make sure that I'm weird and I make sure that all of my columns are properly spaced. Try to make sure that I don't go past like 80 lines or 80 lines, I guess. Great interaction on stream today. Oh, thanks, guys. You guys should like. Thank you, guys. What are C++ codes used to create? So C++ is a programming language that you can use to define objects, classes. There's so much when it comes to it, but it's a general purpose language that can be used for various things. So people have written libraries for stuff like networking, where you can write an HTTP protocol, or like you can do a web scraper where you can basically pull a request, an HTTP GET, and parse the data that you receive, and then you can like organize it however you want. Or you can do the opposite, where you can put the data that you can put it to a specific thing. There's really a lot when it comes to it, but when it comes to game development, C++ lets you define classes and objects, as well as a lot more control over memory. The only thing is it doesn't have a I believe it doesn't have a garbage collector, so you have to be very careful with the memory that you manage. How long do you think it'll take to learn it? A long time. I think to get good at it, it would probably take you at least a year. But to learn it, like the basics, I think you could do it in like a month or two. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Like, I think that it actually is not a very hard language, but once you start getting into like the newer features, you have to know when to use them, you know? Basics, maybe a month or two, but proficiency, maybe a year or more. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I would say that I'm just becoming more proficient to where like I know how most stuff works. I still have a long ways to go, especially when it comes to learning about pointers and memory management and, you know, allocation, deallocation. It's important to learn that stuff for sure. Okay, so with our position now, we want to do our position.cpp. So actually what we'll do here is let's take this. There's definitely better people that you could ask about C++ in general, but like I can definitely probably answer a few like general questions. This is a source file. And then we have our includes, so we want to do position, velocity. We have our acceleration, and we have our, we could do a C assert, but we honestly probably don't need it right now. But we'll just handle our constructor. So position. And this is our assignment operator that we're going to do first. So const and const position. To like C++ takes more time to master than Python, right? It's kind of an arbitrary question just because it depends on what you're learning. Python could have, like machine learning, that could take way longer than it could take to learn the basics of C++. Whereas Python, I would say, is a lot faster when you're learning like general stuff, probably. It's not necessarily better. It's better at certain things, but it just depends on the task that you're doing, you know? So that's kind of a hard question to answer. I'm on my Twitch and I keep seeing people spam, like there's all these people that keep spamming, like they're bots, I believe, so I'm banning them. Yeah, if you're going for low level stuff, stripping away the abstraction, then for sure. Yeah, like Python is literally written in C and C++, I believe. So if you want to know how to, deal with like stuff closer to the metal, so like your memory, or yeah, mainly memory, but like just objects in memory as well. C++ is a good language for that, as well as Rust. Rust is probably more commonly learned nowadays because it has a garbage collector and manages a lot of memory for you. It's super safe. But I would say that it's still catching up. Like, it's still got a while to go before it's mainstream because, like, before you start seeing a bunch of C++ replaced with Rust, just because it's still pretty new, I guess, in comparison to C++. C++ has been around since, like, 1998, I believe. So, yeah. Jessen is right. Some topics in Python can take a year or two. Yeah. Python is very abstracted, but also once you do like machine learning and AI and stuff, it can be really, really, really intense, especially when it comes to algorithms and yeah, algorithms can be pretty tricky depending on what it's doing. Okay, let me see here. So actually, this is the assignment operator, not the constructor, my bad. So this will go down here, but we have our position. And then this will take our double X, double Y, and then we'll do X is 0.0. Y is 0.0, and then we need to set the meters as well. So what we do here for our constructor for our position is, since it's in meters, we do set meters, and then we just pass X and set meters Y, which I'm trying to remember. Oh, it's just set meters x, sorry. And then this is our assignment. So bro, just vibe code it? Nah, I'm actually trying to learn. But I appreciate you. I mean, I could definitely vibe code anything, but it's just much more valuable for me later down the line. Because I could vibe code, but like, this is more fun. Plus, this isn't for anything. I'm not trying to make money off of this. I'm trying to learn. So that's why I would rather program it by hand. Okay, so we have our assignment, and then we have our insertion as well, I believe. So we could do our insertion operator, or an inner extraction. Oh, what else do we have? Let's see. We need to do our add. So add will update our position essentially based on our velocity. So what's my game? I'm making some sort of, right now I'm just making like an orbital simulator essentially. So I'm making it so I can, well, here, let me just make it really quick. So you can see here I have like 2 planets, or like I have the sun and a planet that I just drew with pixel art. My goal is to have these planets all aligned correctly, and then they will orbit based on their positions. And right now I'm just writing all the the physics classes so that all the physics are handled correctly. But yeah. I'll probably go back and add more detailed comments after, but we have add, and add takes a acceleration, velocity, and time. Hope everybody's doing good, by the way. Oh yeah, if you guys are new here, feel free to sub. Join the Discord here. I'll put my Discord in the link. Or in the description, sorry. I mean in the chat, gosh. It's in the description now. Feel free to join. We got people there. If you have questions ever about what I'm doing or programming languages or whatever, it's a good community. And we've got about 35 people, I think. 30-ish people. So, nice, man. I've done something similar in Python, but obviously that's more simple, and I got AI to help. Yeah, I think AI is really great at just getting like an idea on the screen, honestly. If you want to prototype stuff, AI is really great for that. But man, there are so many things to consider when writing code, especially when it comes to like edge cases and like testing. But yeah, so we do need to get our acceleration values. So we're gonna do a.get dex and double dy equals get ddy. And then we also need to just set, now we just need to set our X and Y positions. So we do plus equals, and then we need to do the velocity, so v.get dx, and then time, we need to do times t plus 0.5, and then we needed to multiply that by the acceleration, and we need to multiply that by the time, and then times the time again. I'm not gonna lie, as you go more low level, AI stuff gets stuff wrong, but it's good for asking it about possible refactor ideas, or if there are better libraries to use for a thing so you don't get stuck. Yeah, I would definitely say like AI is great for that kind of stuff, like especially because I mean, AI has a lot more quick access to knowledge than you do as a person, as a human. So yeah, I can agree with that. Like I'm not anti-AI, but I just don't use it for my personal stuff. Especially if I was gonna make a game, like I want it to feel authentic, and I want it to feel like it's mine, you know. So I will say here we want to do use acceleration methods to get access to acceleration values. And then we also can update this add. So let's do something like this. We can just copy and paste this. And then we can just call it add. And yeah, I know there's a lot of distaste with AI in the game industry, especially AI 3D models and other art. It just depends on what you're doing. Like if you're trying to say, hey, I made this game and it's fully mine, and you used AI to like make the art and stuff, I think that's where I would say there's a line that needs to be drawn, and like people need to start considering like what they're actually claiming, you know. So we want to update the current position based on velocity, and then we just basically use the time dilation to update our, like we use the formula for to update the position based on our time dilation and all that. And that's a lot of physics and stuff, but okay, we can do our insertion and extraction, but I would think I'll do that later because I'm not really going to use it right now. What I do need to do now, I think it would be good to consider a planet class. I probably should do all the CPP files for like angle and stuff. I think it would be good to do all of this physics in like one physics.h class. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So let's take our angle.h. We'll start with that. And we'll put it physics.h. And then we could just do pound define physics, and then end if. And then we basically just want to like put our classes in here. So we can start with angle. And then we can do acceleration next, so I know it's not, I don't know if it's really common to put a bunch of classes in one file, but I feel like since they're all physics related, it's definitely like a better, it's just gonna be a better way to do it. So we have our acceleration next. And then we also have, let's delete these then. Velocity. If anyone here has done C++, let me know if that's like a common practice to do like a physics class that is like comprised of multiple classes. Because I know nested classes are not, I don't know, I'm kind of iffy on them. And then our position will also be inside of our physics probably. Actually, I would say that position is different than physics, maybe. So I'm going to keep that on its own. And then in our position, we'll just do pound include physics maybe it's physics slash okay, so let's maybe try this. I don't know how this works, or how this would work. Because I figured maybe in physics we just delete the declaration for our physics. And then inside a position, maybe that'll fix it. I don't know. Let's see. Let me look this up. Okay, so outer, we need to have forward declaration. That seems much more complicated, actually. Okay. You know, let's just do a header file for each. But you know what we could do is we could do this. We could say physics folder, and then we can have they can each have their own header. I think that's better. .h and then our velocity. There we go. Okay. And so we have our angle. Acceleration. And then our velocity. Our position. I'm guessing there's a way to do it better, but like, I don't know. I think just having it separated by a directory is better. And then position can also just go in physics, but it, yeah. Oh, unit velocity, not angle. There we go. So that class is pretty much done, which is good. I hope everybody's doing good, by the way. Feel free to like and subscribe, and also join the Discord. It's in the chat as well as in the description. And if you guys have feedback for me, let me know. Or if you have questions, of course. So we got our physics basically handled, which is awesome. So we can basically just say physics classes are done. So then I think we should probably look at drawing now. Hey, how's it going, Vera? Good to see you. We got 18 people in here. That's crazy. Thank you guys for being here. So our planet, I'm trying to think about this in a better way. So our planet will essentially have a bunch of different attributes behind it. But our planet will basically, my goal with the planet class is to create a planet object that we can redraw multiple planets. So like, for example, if we want to draw Earth, but if that's a different size than Saturn, we're going to need to be able to pass some sort of radius or diameter. And then we need something to, either that or we need to be able to pass it to, like pass through the actual vector, hard-coded vector coordinates, so that way we can actually render them in the proper place. This is super dope to see someone just starting out. Don't give up, mate. You got this. Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for all the encouragement and the kindness. I love doing this stuff. It's been fun. Okay, so with our planet, let's see. Let me just... I like having the little headers because it just helps remind me of like, what does this class do? So, and it's also just good documentation. And this can just be the attributes of a planet. Or, yeah, I guess we could do a star as well. Like, the sun is technically a star, obviously. I'm starting game dev too, but I really like that you are live streaming. Good luck, bro. Hey, thank you, man. Dude, everybody's so kind. I appreciate it. I feel like the stream has been so great. Everybody's been really nice. Yeah, so I actually went through and made pixel art images, or like pixel art for each planet. It's really not that great, like the pixel art itself, but it's like kind of fun, you know? I got Mercury here. I have stars that I'm going to render in the background that I did with another game that I made. I got our sun here, which kind of just looks like an egg. And then I got Venus, which I need to still do like Saturn and stuff, but I figured let's do like the first couple and then, you know, we'll go from there. You got to start kind of small. So my idea is we can have some sort of canvas class that we can use to draw the actual shapes. consistently over 10 people watching. W. Dude, I know, it's been a crazy good stream. I've appreciated everybody being here. And we're already almost to 270, which we've already gained like 10 subs from this stream. So I appreciate you guys. Feel free to join the Discord, guys, if you have questions or just want to be a part of the community. And yeah. We're almost done with our 50 minutes, which is good. So then we can take a little break. I'll probably do like a 5-minute break because I feel like I'm in the zone. But let me look up with OpenGL. I'm pretty sure that we actually want to... Yeah, we want to use meshes for our actual models. And our mesh basically stores all of our vertices, indices, textures, like our VAO, VBOs, and EBOs, which are basically how we can draw everything on the screen, which is great. So I think that'll be good to read that chapter eventually. We're still in the lighting chapter of the tutorial. So maybe I should just skip to this chapter for now, because I'm not really worried about lighting in my program. But if you guys don't know, if you guys are new, I'm doing a couple things. I'm working on a few things right now. I'm working on OpenGL, Learn OpenGL tutorial, which is this website. And then I'm using that knowledge that I learned from the tutorial to make this project, which is a orbital solar system simulator, like a solar simulator. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get all the physics done for that. And then the other thing that I'm doing on the side is also NeetCode, which is our data structures and algorithms, which I probably won't, I need to try and do, like, open the stream with that or end the stream with like a NeetCode problem. And then we also are doing Learn CPP. So I'm curious, if you guys were to watch the streams more consistently, would you guys want me to do like a NeetCode or like a LeetCode problem at the beginning of the stream, in the middle of the stream, or in the end of the stream? Let me do a poll actually. Maybe you guys can let me know. So should I do a NeetCode problem every stream at the beginning, middle, or end? And then we can say beginning, middle, end. And then I'll also add an option for don't care for NeetCode, and then slash doesn't matter. I'll just put don't care. Okay. I started a poll. If you guys want to answer that, we can see what you guys... Because I know NeetCode specifically is like what I would choose to do for my data structures and algorithms. But if you guys are like learning programming, it would be fun to do it with you guys, because I'm also eventually going to be getting a job in the field, so it's good to practice, you know. Let's see. Hopefully, if you guys can see the poll, okay. So we got one vote, or I think we got 50% beginning, 50% middle. So that's good to know. Okay, so kind of do it earlier in the stream is what I'm hearing. I appreciate that, guys. That's good feedback. So yeah, Learn CPP is where I will tell you guys to go if you want to learn C++. So I'm going to put that in the chat. Learn OpenGL if you want to learn how to make a game from scratch without an engine. Well, without like using Unity or Godot or Unreal. This is a good one to start with. And then I would say if you want to practice data structures and algorithms, do neat code, because it's a lot more structured than LeetCode. So yeah, I'll let the poll go for like another 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna take a little break, so I'm gonna start a 10-minute timer really quick. Yeah, I will be right back. You guys can hang around or do whatever you need to. I'll be right back in a couple minutes. So, yeah, be right back. Just gonna take a little break. Okay, I'm back. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll end the poll here. So our results are kind of like don't care, more middle, and then or beginning. So what I think I'll do is I'll try to make it more towards the beginning of streams. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stream today, because I've been streaming for a little over 2 hours. Not this stream, because this is my second stream. I had to go take care of something. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So, I do want to look into the model loading aspect of things. So let's go to model loading. Okay. In the scene so far, we've been extensively playing with our little container friend, but over time, even our best friends can get a little boring. In bigger graphics applications, there are lots of complicated, interesting models that look much prettier to look at than a static container. However, unlike the container object, we can't really manually define all the vertices, normals, and texture coordinates of complicated shapes. Yeah, that makes sense. Like houses, vehicles, or human-like characters. What we want instead is to import these models into the application. Models that were carefully designed by 3D artists in tools like Blender, 3ds Max, or Maya. These so-called 3D modeling tools allow artists to create complicated shapes and apply textures to them via a process called UV mapping. The tools then automatically generate all the vertex coordinates, vertex normals, and texture coordinates while exporting them to a file format that we can use. This way, artists have an extensive toolkit to create high-quality models without having to care much about the technical details. All the technical aspects are hidden in the exported model file. We as graphics programmers do have to care about these technical details though. Okay. So I'm just going to kind of like read through this a little bit. Open asset import library. Okay. Let's download it. So it's only on Windows and Android. Oh, Homebrew has it. Okay. That's good. Okay, so we already got it. That's good. So, one, we actually do need to use that for 3D models. That'll be good. But I think for sprites, we want to... I'm trying to think. Let's pull up AI. For a 2D OpenGL project in C++, I want to create multiple planet objects that can vary in size, such as Earth, Saturn, the Sun, etc. Would I use async or a planet class with a rendering method for something like this? So it's good to see what the technicality is, like the standard. So async would be overkill. It's a 3D model importer. Yeah, okay. So planet class with its own rendering method is the right call here. You generate a circle mesh procedurally using a triangle fan or similar. Apply a texture, and each planet instance just holds its own size, position, and texture. The class handles drawing itself. It keeps things clean, scalable, and naturally fills what you do with VAOs and VBOs. Okay, so that makes sense. I guess what member variables would I consider? I'm working with a lab for C# class right now. Can't figure something out? Yeah, feel free to shoot if you have a question. So we have the radius, which is the size. Where it sits in the screen is our vec2 position, which we can use a position object, of course. Rendering, our meshes, our texture, and our shader. Our orbital motion, so we have radius, speed, and angle. And self-rotation is rotation, angle, and speed. Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask in chat. I also should be taking a break right now. I got distracted. Okay. So I'm guessing. Well, let me see. Would it be better to use a double or a float for our radius? Is my question. Would a double be okay for our radius? But float is the better choice here. OpenGL operates in 32-bit floats natively, so you'd end up casting the float anyway. Okay, so double is mainly for precision, but I guess since OpenGL just uses floats, that makes sense. I appreciate it. I'm trying to take values from the user and then ask them to continue by replying yes/no. If they reply no, it should exit the while loop. Okay, so let's think about this. Let's see if I remember how I can do this in C#. But let me just open like a random C# practice. Sorry, one sec. Let's open this. Let's do oh, that's a directory. So I guess what we'll do here is we'll just do a .NET new console. Console, and then we'll just call it test. Restore failed. Well, that sucks. Anyways, so what we have here is you have take values from the user and then ask them to continue by replying yes/no. Okay, so let's think about this. So we want to avoid. I don't know how to. I have to go back between. I guess it would be public static void main. Let's just test this really quick. And then let's just do .NET Run. Of course this is not working. Alright, one sec, it's fixing a few things, but I'm happy to help. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can probably start this. So what we're gonna do essentially is we're gonna have two functions. We're gonna have one to get the user input, and then we're gonna have one, well, we're gonna have one to handle user input, and then we're going to have one that's our main loop that will use some sort of switch. Or you can do it all in one like in main. That works too. But give me 1 second while it fixes. It's got to fix the project, so. Let me just start writing. So what I would do is we want to get the user input, so we do static void get input. I guess we could do variable, but I would say string name. I don't know what we're passing take values from the user. What kind of values are you taking from the user is my question. We could just start with like a name, string age. And our get input could do something like console.readline name age, I believe. I haven't really messed around with C# much lately. And then we'd want to do something like, well, I guess we'd want to return whatever we're getting, but we'll stop there for a sec. For you guys who are just joining the stream, we're helping someone in the chat really quick with what we're doing. So you want to take values from the user, ask them to continue by replying yes/no. So you would want to have a switch statement that essentially has all of your different options. So actually, I have a good example of this in C++. Let me find it really quick. It is the CGPA calculator. So we have here our menu, and we basically have a menu that stores our line or our different like options. What we want to do to handle these options is we want to go to where is main? Or sorry, it is in. Where's our switch statements? Sorry, one sec. So what it's doing is taking minutes per workout, and they're asked to add another day, yes or no. So I currently have a while to ask day ask to lower equals yes, and minutes daily equals double.parse. I don't know if that seems good, because obviously you're handling if they enter. You want to make sure that you can handle that they make sure they enter a number or a string. So let me see. Well, I guess since they're both numbers, you just want to make sure that it's only a number. But I'm trying to think, where is it? Course. Okay. Let me find it in here. Main. Menu. Is it in menu? Okay, so it is right here. So for this one, I had like, hey, we have enter your student ID. And then basically with our default, it basically just returns us to the main menu. So you'd want to do something similar to where we have while our choice is equal to our get input, which is our choice. Let me see if I can do this better. One sec. Let me see if I can do this in C#. Bye, dude. Gotta go. It is almost 3 a.m. Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for tuning into the stream. Do you have a GitHub? I do. If you reach out to me on Discord, I'll give it to you there. But I'm not gonna give it in public on the YouTube channel. I'm honestly not. I haven't done in C# in a while, but I'm trying to think. I would say we need to start with our problem and break it down into really small pieces. So with our user input, we'd want a function that basically says get the input from the user. And this is going to pass like something like a string. Or actually, it would just pass like the integer. You said minutes per workout, so minutes. And then we'd have an integer for our days, our number of days. So number of days. Then we'd return that, and then we do something like void, or actually we want to do calculate. Could I make the string day ask an array for yes or no? I wouldn't do that. That's way too complicated. That's not the, I would not say that's the approach you would do, is don't make it an array. Because then you're just going to hard code yes or no like that. Use a switch statement. So, you know what I'm going to do, because I can't explain this properly with what I'm going to do. So I'm going to say, I am going to take your message and I will find a decent answer for you. I know this is really like unhelpful, but I want to make sure that I can help you accurately, which this is a person in my stream asking for help on their C# project. And then I will say, I was going to suggest a switch statement with if statements to handle the input logic. So this is what my idea is. You want to do some sort of switch statement. A switch on the yes or no input keeps it clean and readable. Just a quick thing to consider. Do you want me to sketch out how the structure might look? Give me this simple overview of the code. So while day ask that $2 equals yes, we want to get our input. So you'd say we want to get our input from, this is way better. Sorry I couldn't explain it. Like, it was hard to like transition from C++. But basically we take our daily and read the line, and then we want to make a switch that basically says if we say yes, we continue the loop to get the next value. Otherwise, you select no, then you break it, and then the default is to break it as well, which is no. And then you could just prompt day ask console.readLine, which is ask yes or no again. I hope that makes sense. It's really not too complicated. You don't want to store any of that stuff in an array. Basically, you just want to try and do a switch statement for that kind of simple of a project, I would say. Hope that helped. I know that I took a while to explain that. Let's see. SS says, do you think OpenGL knowledge can be transferred to learning another graphics library? Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely can. Appreciate the help, man. Thank you. Yeah, of course. I hope that helped in some way. I wish I didn't have to like use AI to fully explain it, but like, don't overcomplicate it. Really just like consider it like this. You have a value you want to read. So you want a function that reads the value. You have conditions that need to be met. So you'd use an if/while loop, or an if statement /while loop. And then you also have results to calculate. So you'd basically pass the results from the conditions. So if you break it down like this, like it's like, okay, so first I need to handle a function that gives me the values and stores it somewhere in memory. Then we need to have the conditions to handle that input, which means like, hey, if you have more values, keep pressing yes or whatever, type yes. If you have no more, press no, and then it'll store the current number of values. And then you need to have some sort of function to calculate the results that you have / display them. So yeah, that's what I would do in that kind of context. Okay. Back to our planet. So float radius, size of planet. We also, let's see, I'm trying to think. We also can have like orbital attributes. I'm so sorry if you guys hear my dogs. So we have our float, orbit speed, float, orbit. Well, I guess we need a position too, so we just probably pass a So I probably need to update all of these things to be floats instead of doubles. Position. Thank you, bro. I'm trying to not use AI as much as possible since I'm just starting out and don't want to get caught in the bad habit. Absolutely. That's a really good idea. Don't use AI. I would say use AI only when you like cannot understand it. But I would say even before using AI, just like look up a very high level or question, like how do I handle input in C#? And then, learn how to do that stuff. That's how you learn programming. So we have our orbital attributes, but I guess we'll just say these are attributes of planet objects. It has a position. I'm trying to think. I'm kind of tired. I might be done in a few minutes, honestly. I need to take a break and go eat dinner. I think I will take a break now, honestly. I think this is a good place to leave off. We did really good. Got started on planet. We got all of our physics classes done today, which is great. Yeah. If you also Born in Debt. If you have more questions, join the Discord, and I can help you there outside of the stream, and I could probably help much easier because then I can actually think about it more. My brain is just so stuck in C++ right now. Which it doesn't matter. The programming language doesn't really matter in this context, but like, yeah. Anyways, I think I'm going to end stream, guys. If you guys have any questions, join the Discord. I really appreciate all of you being here. Feel free to like and subscribe. Tune into future streams. I appreciate all the new subscribers, and thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate the support and all the encouragement. So, yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Have a wonderful rest of your day.